Very good morning, children. In yesterday's lesson, you learned the observation of different plants, different insects, different animals, and you observe the differences in those organisms. Huh? So you learned the differences of dicots and monocots. Huh? Dicot, what do you mean by dicot seeds or dicotyledonous plants? What do you mean by monocotyledonous plants? What are the differences you observed in them? All that you have discussed, and you learned about the what is that, some activities where you are observing the differences in seeds, then differences in root structure of the plants, then leaves, like that you learned. And yesterday we started the observing the animals also we learned. So in that when we take the insects of different insects, if we observe, so no insect is looking alike with others, is it not? So they are different. So common characters we are observing. What are the common characters in all insects we can see means that is said to be head, thorax and abdomen. Jointed legs we are going to observe in the insects, is it not? Then some of the insects they have 6 jointed legs, and some of the insects they have 8 jointed legs, like spiders they have 8 jointed legs, whereas other insects they have 6 jointed legs. So some of the insects they have wings and some of the insects they do not have wings. So we observe some dissimilar characters and some of the same characters. Suppose if you observe the human beings now, let us observe your classmates only. So is there any student looking like you, or even if we have common characters like head, eyes, ears, nose, hands, legs, like that, but no one is looking alike, is it not? No one is looking similar with the others in your class, is it not? Even in your family members also some differences we are going to observe of the same species. We people are human beings, so no one is looking alike and we have some differences, some differences we are observing, is it not, children? So just like that, if you take 2 neem plants or rose plants or any other 2 plants which belong to same species, then also we are going to observe some differences. So what do we call those differences which we are observing among the same species? Same species. Here human beings, we belong to same species. Is it clear? So neem plants, all neem plants they belong to one species. Is it not? Rose plants, whether they have different colors of flowers, but whatever it may be, all rose plants belong to one species. Is it not? So if we observe the differences among the what is that group of organisms belong to same species, then that we call it as a variations. So what are variations, children? The presence of differences between the organisms of same species. Just now I said human beings, we people, wherever we may be, all around the globe, we have common characters. So we walk erect, we talk, we look at others, we will know the environment, we will know the world, but the people of eye or ear pinna, height, curly hairs. So if we take into consideration these characters, so those characters are different, is it not? So like that here, the differences when we observe in the same group of organisms, then those are called as variations. Is it clear to you? Then now what for these variations are going to help? So these variations are caused because of changes which are happening in the genetic material, and if they are useful, they'll be carried forward to the next generations. Means evolution process will just transfer these variations from one generation to next generation. Even that all you will learn in higher classes. Now you understand one thing here, that organisms are grouped by observing similar characters and dissimilar characters. Okay, so that made the scientists to study about them easily, and that made you people to understand in a easier way. So that made to what is that, to start a new branch of biology, which we call it as a classification, taxonomy we call it as a that came into existence. Okay, so now grouping of organisms on the basis of what is that, certain characters. Some characters are taken into consideration, like just now I said pupil color, or ear pinna, curly hair, or smooth hair, or height we are going to observe, or thumb impressions we are going to observe. All these are the characters. Okay, over a population, indicating some common characters we are going to observe in them, with some or the way in which the organism may have evolved is a classification. Okay, so what is meant by classification? Grouping of organisms. Classification. What do you mean by classification? Grouping of organisms. In what way? By observing similar characters and dissimilar characters. Okay, now what do we call that? Science of classification. Study of classification or grouping of organisms by observing similar characters and dissimilar characters in a scientific manner is called a taxonomy. So what is this taxonomy? Taxonomy is a branch of biology where we are going to learn about the different organisms which are grouped based on the differences or the similar characters. So that what will happen? It will help in studying about the organisms of particular group in detail. Okay, so you learned the characters of organisms, and that characters also which are similar and which are non-similar you learned, is it not? So why, in what way it is going to help? Means for grouping the organisms. Okay, so what do you call that grouping of organisms? That grouping of organisms is called a classification. Is it clear to you? So what is the need of classification? Why should we group the organisms? What will happen if we don't group them? Best example I can give you. You are staying in school from morning 9 to 4 o'clock. So that time duration, whichever is there, it is divided into 7 periods or 8 periods. And each period, one subject teacher will come and teach. Is it not? So where you can understand easily of that particular subject, whichever period teacher is going to take. Is it not? Suppose if all the teachers come and teach all the subjects from morning till from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock, all teachers at a time, means it will be somewhat confusion and you cannot understand, you can't follow the concepts. Is it not, children? So here also, to make your work easy, in studying about living organisms, this classification is important. So now, how? What is the need of classification, that we will learn. Need of classification. So here what for we have to classify the organisms, means to get better knowledge of living organisms. Okay, and to understand them, or to study them in a easier manner. Okay, so to get better knowledge and to understand about organisms or to study about organisms in a better way. Is it clear to you? Suppose if you are going to learn about the paddy crop, so different varieties of paddy are there. Only paddy you are going to learn, is it not? So how many varieties are there? How do they grow? How much water is needed for that? So we have grouped that particular plant species. So suppose if you take any other legume plants, what are the common characters and what are the dissimilar characters we are observing, then it will become easy for you to understand in a better way. You are going to get knowledge. So for that purpose we have to classify the living organisms. Okay, next helps. So this classification helps to study the organisms in a systematic manner. In a systematic manner. What you can understand with that word systematic manner? In order. We are going to learn from low group to primitive group to present group of organisms. So that what will happen? How these organisms are evolved, all that we can know. So in a systematic manner, we can learn about the organisms. For that purpose, classification is needed. So just like that, you passed different grades, different standards, is it not? So now you are in 9th class. Simply you have not come to 9th class, is it not? So you have completed LKG, UKG, like that different classes you have passed, and now you are in 9th class, is it not? So in LKG what you are learning? Did you learn in LKG class about all this? No. So in LKG you are learning about basics. So alphabets, numbers, etc. So that knowledge just slowly it will be increasing, is it not? In the different classes which you come across, which you passed, is it clear? So at the same time, this alphabets you are not going to be learning in 9th class or in 10th class, is it not? So here in a systematic manner, from the primitive group of organisms to present existing organisms, to study about them. So this classification is needed. I hope you understood this systematic manners. Then it helps to make comparison in an easier way. Helps to compare organisms in an easier way. Comparison. We are going to compare. Okay. For example, which you have learned in the previous activity. So you observe the different insects. Is it not? And you observe the different plants. So you got some common characters in that. Is it not? So here when we come like that, when we are going on studying like that here, finally what you have observed? Same group of organisms you observed, like 2 neem plants or 2 beetles or 2 butterflies. When we observe, you are going to learn about the comparison. So you can compare, you can compare the characters of that living organisms which you are going to study. So that will become very much easier. Helps to compare the organisms in an easier way. Suppose if I tell you to compare the characters which you have seen in a group of all the organisms and one, so little we can compare. Suppose if we take the organisms which are said to be of same species, we observe more and more similar characters with less dissimilar characters. Is it not? So that comparison, comparative study, it will become easy because of a classification. Then next one, helps to understand the relationship among the organisms and their interdependency. What do you mean by interdependency? You know that in the first lesson of 8th class you learnt different organisms are living in different environments. Some live in water, some live in deserts. You learnt about desert ecosystem or Koringa water ecosystem or grassland ecosystem, like that. Is it not? So what did you learn? You learned about the interdependency. Means how the organisms in a particular ecosystem, they are depending on one another. Okay. Suppose if you go to a park, you are going to observe different types of plants. Is it not? So park is an example of man-made. We made it. So there also you are observing the living systems and non-living organisms. Is it not? So non-living components, water, soil, air, sunlight availability, all that will come. Then living components, different species of plants, small grass plants you are observing, then tall trees you are observing. So different plants you are observing. Then on the plants again you are observing the organisms which are living. Maybe some insects will be living. Is it not? And other animals also you can see, like frogs or snakes. So all these are dependent on one another. At the same time they are living separately also, like okay, interdependency you are going to observe. So all these organisms are living together or they are born together only because of food. Okay, so that can be that relationship. That relationship we can understand easily because of this classification. Is it clear to children? So it helps to understand the relationship among the organisms and their interdependency. For example, forest ecosystem if you go, or grassland ecosystem we will take. So what living components you can observe there in grassland ecosystem? You can see grass plants, herbivorous animals you can see, carnivorous animals you can see, finally decomposers also will be there. Is it not? So more and more grass plants if we observe, herbivorous animals will be more in number. Okay. So if herbivorous animals are there, carnivorous animals also will be there. But carnivorous animals number, if it increases, what will happen? The number of herbivorous animals will be decreased. Because that herbivorous animal is going to become food for carnivorous animal. So herbivorous means which feed on the grass, and carnivorous means which feed on the flesh of other organisms or feed on the herbivores. Lion, tiger are examples of carnivores, and goat, horse, sheep are said to be herbivores. Is it not, children? So if herbivorous population is decreased because of increase in carnivores, finally the number of carnivorous animals also are getting dying. Is it not? Because they are not getting food. So that relationship, so how they are going to get the food and how they are going to survive. So that interdependency is learned easily, that is because of classifying the organisms. Then next one is said to be classification makes our study more focused and helps us to handle huge population. So fifth point here makes our study more focused, and helps to handle whose population. Whose population of organisms. So classification is going to make you to understand, or we can focus more on that, and helps to study about the whole population, vast population of organisms. Okay. Forest ecosystem, if you take, so different groups of organisms are going to survive there. Living organisms, we are going to study first one after the other, one group of organisms, then next group, like that, all groups of organisms we are going to learn. So whose population of organisms we can learn easily, that is because of classification. Just like that marine water ecosystem, if you take, so million species of organisms, how they are surviving, and what is that mode of life of those organisms, all that we can easily study, and we can focus on them, and we can study in detail about them. So for that purpose classification is needed. Then next one. So if we are going on classifying the organisms, what it is going to make you to understand means, it will help to study about evolution. Helps to study about evolution of organisms. Helps to study about the evolution of organisms. So what do you understand by this evolution? Evolution means a slow and steady process which has happened in the living organisms, okay, to evolve the present organisms. So you know that from the primitive organisms only, the present existing organisms we are going to observe. Is it clear to you? So that slow and steady process whichever happened among the living organisms to have the present organisms, so that process we call it as evolution. So evolution here, best example I can say you, we all have been evolved from single celled animals. Amoeba, if I tell. So you wondered, is it not, children? So that amoeba, it lives in water. It is said to be a microscopic organism. Only one cell is present, and that one cell is doing all the functions. And we are said to be multicellular organisms, and we have well-defined structure. Is it clear to you? And different organs are there, organ systems are there. How that process, evolution, how it happened? Okay, so that we will keep aside. So amoeba, it is unicellular, we will take. So vertebrate animals, 5 groups are there. Invertebrata. Is it clear to you? So you are learning that in this class only. So now in vertebrata, first class is said to be fish, then amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals. So 5 groups of organisms are there. So that last group, human beings, they have evolved from this fish. We have to accept it because we have some common characters, children, but evolution, slow and steady process happened, and if the variations like you learned, so the differences which you are observing among the group of same species, then they are called as variations, like that you learned. So when that variations are useful for next generation, they are carry forward to the offsprings from parents. So that it has taken a lot of time, some millions of years has been taken place. So that process we call it as evolution. So how that evolution has been carried out among the organisms can be learned in a easier way, that is because of a classification. Is it clear to you? So I hope you understood this word evolution. Evolution is said to be a slow and steady process which happened in the living organisms. Means from the primitive organisms, the present day organisms we are observing, maybe birds or insects or human beings we are observing. So how they have evolved into the present day organisms, that process is called evolution. So to study about that evolution process, classification is going to help. Is it clear to children? So in that way, here the classification is very much essential for the organisms to study in a better way. So to study or to understand in a better way, classification is very important. So classification means grouping of organisms. In what way? By observing similar and dissimilar characters. Is it clear to you? Then, so just now I said that this classification is helping in studying about the evolution of organisms from the primitive organisms to present day existing organisms. So that one we call it as evolution. So this most of the life forms that we are observing are having variations that are accumulated, whatever variations we are observing, accumulated for many years. After many years they carry forward. When they are useful, they are just existing, they are seen. Okay, so that entire variations, how they are carry forward from one generation to another generation, then if they are useful, they are going to be carried forward, or they are allowed to appear in the next generations. So that all is making the organisms for the better survival. Better survival. Have you followed what I said? So we have to live in a better way. Okay. Survival of the fittest. The organisms which are very much fit means which are very much resistant. COVID, you can take example. Is it not? So many people who got affected because of COVID. So if their resistance power is more and more, they are rescued from that COVID. People whose resistance is very low, they lost their lives. So here survival chances are more and more because of this useful variations which are carried forward. So that all is learned in the evolution, and that all information was given by Charles Darwin in a book called Origin of Species. So Origin of Species was written by Charles Darwin in 1859. Charles Darwin wrote a book called The Origin of Species in 1859. Okay, so what he wrote, he observed the different kinds of living organisms. He travelled in that shape. So you are going to learn about that also in this lesson. So Galapagos Islands he visited, and he observed there many species of organisms. He studied about them in a scientific way, and he wrote a book called That Origin of a Species. Who wrote that book, children? Charles Darwin. So he wrote that book, and later he classified the living organisms. That is the beginning first for a classification. Is it clear to you? So what characters he has taken into consideration? Body design of the organisms, then how they live, how they are going to withstand to live in that particular environment, then what are the different modes of collection of food. So all that characters are studied by Charles Darwin, and he wrote a book, that Origin of Species. In that he explained about the evolution process, and that characters, how they are going to be carried forward to the next generations. All that was given by this, from simple organisms to present day more complex organisms, how they have evolved. All that was given in the that information is given in the book Origin of Species. Is it clear to children? Everybody followed? Then so tomorrow we will discuss about history of classification.